Here we are at the mouth of the Glenner Valley. Just over here is the city of Valence, and over to the left, up on the hill, is Castelberg. This castle is called Castelberg because it is on a berg. That's that little outcropping from the side of the mountain there. That little hill is called a berg. So this castle on the berg is Castelberg. The branch of the family that lived in this castle took the name Castelberg, but was the exact same family as the Uber castles in Sur-Cashti. Eventually the name Castleberg was adopted by the whole family and the name Ubercastle was discontinued. Here's a view of the castle from another angle, the opposite side of the hill in fact. Looking at it from this angle you can see how steep a face there is just below the castle. Would have been very easy to defend this. The castle is kind of hard to see through the trees there, and in fact in the summertime is almost impossible to see when the leaves are on the trees. This is a view from the same angle from the edge of the city of Valence. In the distance we can see the castle there on top of the hill. Just below the castle to the left is a lumber mill that was originally owned by the Castlebergs. But enough of looking at the castle from the valley floor. I think it's about time we climbed up and took a closer look at it. Here we are looking down into the valley where the road and the river are. And as we turn, look past these shepherd huts or barns to Castelberg. A closer view of it. That's the main tower situated up on top of the berg there. Climbing now to a spot above the castle so that we can look down on it, get a little more of a view. This is the hill that it's sitting on. To the right there you can see one of the shepherd's huts. Zooming in, right there you can see one of the outer walls, the center of the picture. This castle was built around 1250 AD, so in the 13th century. And even though we're up on the hill above it, that spot would still have been very defensible because of the berg that it's sitting on. That's the town of Valence there to the left. Climbing up still a little bit higher, this would be about the view that you'd get from the tower. This view is across the valley. You can see those barns below the castle. Okay, now we're up on the knoll where the castle sits. You see the wall to the right there on the south side of the castle, and this wall directly in front of us on the west side of the castle, and the main tower itself. Coming a little closer, here again is the wall on the south side of the castle, probably a couple feet thick. There's the main tower, the door at the top. As you can see, there are trees growing even right up next to the wall itself, and eventually, if not cut down, these trees will continue to destroy the wall. Here's another view of the courtyard in front of the castle, the front wall, which would have been part of the castle. This wall is to the west. Now on the back side of the castle, the main door, and you can see, if you look coming down diagonally to the left of that doorway, a different shading in the rocks. This is where the stairway would have come down towards the corner there. There's the wall to the south of the castle, ruins of it here on the back side. I'm standing pretty much at the edge of the outer wall. There's the wall to the north of the castle. City of Valence would be down through the trees there. Quite a sudden and steep drop-off. Now back on the front side of the castle, taking another look at the tower and going up to a window in the side of the castle. This would have originally been a very narrow slit, but people forcing their way through it has widened it quite a bit. It should be big enough for us to squeeze through into the center of the castle. Now here we are inside the tower. You see quite a bit of rubble that's fallen off the walls. A little bit of moss on the walls there as well. Those are the holes where the beams would have gone for the first floor. Continuing up the side of the tower on the inside, you find the second row of beams would have been right there below the doorway. Going into the third floor, and finally there at the top, the fourth floor with another door. The tower here at Castelberg is the same size as the tower at Oberkastel. There's the window that we came in. So you can get a view of what it would have looked like without all the floors in it. But originally, of course, it would have looked similar to the Oberkastel tower we saw before. Back up on the hill, just a final overview. And one more point being that some archaeologists have said that the tower was probably destroyed by fire due to the reddish tint that they noted on some of the stones. And that may have been why it was abandoned. If it was destroyed, they may not have had the money to renovate it. Zooming up now, take a final look at that wall to the south of the tower. And pull back. This is a picture of the castle in summertime with one of the shepherd's huts there to the right. This is a view similar to what they would have had from the tower, looking down into Alance and the valley. This is a view across Alance in the wintertime. The castle is up on the left there where that star is. Now back up above the castle. It was down in those trees there, you couldn't really see it. Take a look around the surrounding area. Down there is the city of Alance. Up there is the town of Leuven. Take a closer look at that later. Over that direction would be where Castries is. And this would be the view farther up the Glenna River towards where the Oberkastel castle was. Looking back down now towards the city of Alance. Incidentally, the Rhine River Valley would extend up to the left towards Decentis, where the Castelbergs later moved to. Zooming in now on the hills behind Alance, these hills are covered with ski slopes in the wintertime. I've talked to several Castelbergs who, when visiting Switzerland, were unable to locate this castle, the castle of the Castelbergs, because of the fact that it's so surrounded by trees and it isn't really well marked on local maps. So, if you are ever in Alance, what you need to do is take the bus to Vryn. And the very first stop on that bus route is right here. It's called Tegia Alva. And if you get off the bus here at Tegia Alva, not only are you right above the castle and should be able to look down and see it, but there is a road that has been put in here that leads down to those shepherd's huts or barns. And if you follow that road down, it will lead you pretty much directly to the Castelberg, down there in the trees. So now all you enterprising Castelbergs out to explore a little bit of family history know how to get there. Just up the hill from the Castelberg is the town of Leuven. This town is important in the Castelberg history. It's mentioned in many of the histories. And nearby the town of Leuven is the St. Martin Church, where many Castelbergs are buried. Here we'll take one final look at the Castelberg Tower through the trees. And now it's time to head on down to the valley, where we've got something to visit in the town of Castreish. There's the town of Ilance, and off to the east of Ilance is the town of Castreish, where the Castelbergs built a house, and where many of the Castelbergs moved from the Castelberg castle when it was abandoned. Castreish is at site number 3 on this map, further down the Rhine River from Ilance. There's a contour map showing Ilance and Castreish. The Castelberg house in Castreish is right in the center of town.